Well, hello everyone. My name is Diane. I live in Boston. I am a C6 quad injured in July of 2020. I'm here with Megan, the partner and content manager of KBF, and we're always really excited to be facilitating these conversations and just continuing to build this amazing community through our Adaptive Rec Talks. So tonight we're exploring the incredible world of adaptive scuba diving. And just a little background on our adaptive rec talks. This group meets bi-weekly every other Tuesday at 5:30, and really just the hope to provide is to provide a platform for adaptive sports enthusiasts to engage in lively discussions about various recreational activities. So to reach these conversations, so we always ask experts to offer their insight. So it's a little different each week. We have a few great guests on the call today. So have your questions ready, share experiences, new possibilities, and just jump right in if you want to talk, share, comment, ask questions. You can raise your hand if you feel more comfortable doing that, or write something in the chat. We'll be monitoring that. So whichever is easiest for you. And we do record these discussions and upload them to our Kelly Brush Foundation YouTube channel. That's where you can check all previous discussions that we've had on various topics, various adaptive sports. And our Adaptive Rec Hub is KBF's digital resource for all things adaptive sports and recreation. It's open not only to people with spinal cord injuries, but all disabilities. That's where you can discover sports, you can find places to try them, connect with peers. We have informational videos on dozens of sports, hundreds of organizations and their events. Then we have messaging and equipment information. This map, if you do create a profile, you will get a little icon, and this is where you can also find programs in your area. You can filter it by sport or grants received or rehab attended. And yeah.
I just wanted to
Um,
say on here too, I was just reviewing the scuba diving page. We have quite a bit of users on here that express they like scuba diving and some programs on here as well. But after this call, I'll put this informational, educational video on this platform page so people can learn more about scuba diving, get involved, find resources, and learn from what you guys shared tonight. So all of this information tonight will be shared on the platform as well.
And you can even message people. If you do create a profile, then you can message them and chat more. Um,
Wonderful. If anyone has any questions with the Adaptive Rec Hub, reach out whenever. I'm always happy to dive in or edit your pages or add more content to these pages as well. So thank you guys for already contributing your information to there as well.
yes.
Dive in, no pun intended, Megan.
Exactly.
Yes.
There.
That's great. So for many people living with paralysis, the opportunity to be completely weightless again is something that's hard to put into words. Underwater, wheelchairs disappear completely, gravity fades away, and many divers describe it as one of the most freeing experiences they've had since their injury. We're fortunate to be joined by incredible guests who each bring a unique perspective. Um, from organizations creating adaptive diving opportunities to instruction and training to firsthand experience from a quadriplegic scuba diver. So we have Brad Gagas on the call from Grateful Divers Worldwide, based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We also have John Sherman um, from Denver Divers, based in Denver, Colorado. And then we have KBF ambassador and certified adaptive scuba diver, Ryan Barbie. So thanks everyone for joining. We're looking forward to an exciting conversation. And I always like to just start these conversations by learning a little bit about our guests and how they found their way into adaptive recreation, adaptive scuba diving. So I'd love it if we could begin by having each of you guys introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about your background, your organization, and maybe even share um, what drew you to adaptive scuba diving in the first place. Um, who would like to get started? Brad, you're to my right. Would you like to kick us off?
Sure. Hi, guys. Nice to meet y'all. Brad, born and raised in Kentucky, but I've been in Florida for like over 15 years now. Been a boat captain and a dive instructor for a pretty long time, over 10 years. And yeah, I mean, I love it. I've always loved scuba diving so much, done every aspect, tech diving, photography, spearfishing, you name it, I gave it a try. But then I was working over in Indonesia and I was helping out with a young man with cerebral palsy. He was complete quad, nonverbal, communicated through blinks, and we took him scuba diving. And I really had never seen anything like that before. I didn't know it was possible, and I fell in love with it. And then, I mean, it was hard to tell if he was even having fun, but all of his mates from Australia, they were crazy. They would like take him skydiving and rock climbing and stuff, and they assured us that he loved it and he was having fun. But I came back to the States and kind of figured out who was doing it. Also a dive heart instructor, and I was doing that for a while and worked for Dive Heart South Florida, and then started another thing, Thresher Aquatics. So I ran that from 2020 to 2025. And then I kind of saw some stuff that I wanted to improve upon. So I founded Grateful Divers Worldwide in January of 2025. And yeah, we're busy. We're really blessed down here in South Florida. We've got a huge community where there's multiple groups like ours that go out and do what we do. Some are geared towards specifically veterans. Some are geared towards specifically like kids with special needs kind of stuff. But we work with everybody, whether it's a veteran with PTSD, spinal cord injury, a young man with Down syndrome. It doesn't really matter to us if you have a disability. We'll take you scuba diving, and we're very, very fortunate down here. We're able to get subsidized for a lot of the stuff we do. So my thing kind of sounds cliche, but we want to remove all the barriers from scuba diving, and the price tag is definitely a barrier for a lot of people. So we're able to offer instruction and the diving for pretty much no cost for our adaptive divers and for also the volunteers as well. So yeah, we got a really good thing going down here in South Florida that I'm proud of.
That's amazing. You should be very proud of it.
Mhm.
And so there's other organizations in your area that offer adaptive scuba diving as well. Do you ever partner with them and go on
Yeah,
excursions with them?
yeah, it's all like one love. There's no like, I mean, I think most of us have like an altruistic mindset where like, rising tide raises all boats. So I love working with other groups, especially veteran groups. But yeah, anybody that wants to do a collaboration, and we all like will volunteer at each other's like different events and stuff. You know what I mean? And
That's
then
awesome.
like if I get into adaptive diver and if I'm too busy, I'll pass them off to somebody else or they'll pass them to us. So it really is like a cool like community down here. And you touched on the weightlessness of scuba diving, and I mean we're just scratching at the surface. It's like hyperbaric medicine, right? We're like kind of just starting to figure out all the benefits. Well, we are with physical rehabilitation with zero gravity as well with spinal cord injury. We're working with Miami University, Jackson Health down there, working in their rehab pool, kind of trying to bring a little bit more of a clinical feel to everything. Because I think in the long run, the goal would be to have like insurance codes and stuff to pay for this kind of thing. There's aqua
Mm.
therapy that's already a thing. The empirical evidence is, it takes some time and you really got to put in the groundwork. Anecdotally, it's easy. You talk to any of my adaptive divers and they'll just go on and on about how much better they feel afterwards and all that. So it's there. I think it just it's going to take a little bit more empirical evidence, but we are working on it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, you're setting the groundwork
All
exactly. You're
right.
right. So that's the most important thing. And I love the collaboration that you have cultivated down in Florida.
Mhm.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
Um, John, would you like to go next?
Sure. I'm John Sherman. I'm with Denver Adaptive Divers. We formed Denver Adaptive Divers about 10 years ago to give back to our community. Denver Divers, the for-profit dive shop, has been here since 1960. It's the oldest dive shop in Colorado. So it's been around for a while. Unfortunately, we're successful enough to have gotten started our Denver Adaptive Dive program. Similarly, we recognize the cost situation associated with taking people that live with disabilities. So we offer scholarships that covers training and most of the cost of taking for a week of diving. We typically want them to have some investment in it, so we'll have them pay for their airfare on when we take them down to the Caribbean and stuff. Very similar, we are also very big on the idea of the therapeutical and rehabilitative power of scuba diving. So we are working some angles as well to gather more data that would support further research activities as to the therapeutical value. We've developed basically a glove that gives us the ability to read blood pressure when diving, which is really for the purposes of safety design, is why we started off doing that. The purpose being if you have a spinal cord injury, typically T6 or higher, you're concerned with something called autonomic dysreflexia, and it would be a spike in blood pressure that would be a concern when diving. And this device would be able to pick up and give us a warning to that effect. Situations similar to that would be inside those living with TBI and PTSD. If a fight or flight scenario due to a trigger thought comes in, that same spike in blood pressure could create a risk of wanting to shoot to the surface or things like that. So we're trying to create some safety measures for making it better for the diver. That's just the basis also to build some, what you want to call more quantitative data that would support further investigation, ultimately to lead to what those of us already know. It's rehabilitative and therapeutical value are pretty amazing when you go diving. So that's kind of a little bit about what we're doing, and I appreciate being part of the call.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. And I'm so glad you are part of this call. Thanks for coming. I guess I have an initial question of um is this a cuff that you created yourself or do you um or is it like sold so other people that dive can use it?
It is not a cuff. It doesn't work
Okay.
that way. It is taking the readings that you would get, like on a pulse ox, based on blood flow, and you do the algorithm math to it. So it's a device where the electronics today exist on the back of a neoprene glove, and the light is out on the finger, secured typically with surgical type tape. But that's just for our purposes of testing. Ultimately, we would reduce because all of the electronics are something that the bad computer industry already knows, such as Garmin, for example. We really would like to sit there and hand that piece off to the dive computer manufacturers and develop just a glove with a basically a small piece that would be able to make the leap from the back of the glove to the computer and be able to give real-time data there. Um, Obviously, Garmin has two-way communication capabilities, so it's one of the ones we'll probably start talking to first. We want to get this down to a glove where it could be used by others as more a consumable, I guess you would think about it, versus what we're costing may cost, a little under $1,000 to create this device right now, which is, a lot of that technology is out there. You just need to be able to create it in a way that it becomes usable.
Right, right. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. And that's exciting work. Um, and then one other thing you mentioned was you take trips to the Caribbean. So you're not just based in Denver, you do travel trips.
Absolutely. We go to places like Kingman Brock Beach Resort, Roatan, Carousel, Bonaire, places like that. So we like to get out there to give them a little activity away from the home front. So that's kind of what we do.
All right. Does Grateful Divers also travel, or are you guys stationed in Florida?
Yeah, I mean, we dive a ton here, obviously, because it's in our backyard. But yeah, we go to Bimini, which is easy for us because it's just a ferry ride out
Mm.
of Port Everglades, and we stay over there and dive with Neil Watson and stuff. And we actually just took our first adaptive cruise in April, as much as I always said that I didn't know if I was much of a cruise person. But my adaptive divers, the bathroom thing, right, is just so crucial. You know that it's going to be ADA. Where I'm very proud of our work in Bimini. The ferry, they built a ramp for us because we have like power chairs too, right? So it's a lot different getting a power chair than a manual chair on and off a ship. And a lot of the restaurants put in ramps since we started going there. So I liked that idea. Let's go somewhere new that's not super accessible and try to kind of force their hand on being more accessible. So we're looking into other islands in the Bahamas as well, just because it's easy access. And yeah, we did just take a cruise with Celebrity, and it was fun. We went to Key West and then we went to Nassau, and it was a good fit. And the cost was really reasonable. Pretty much all of my volunteers are dive instructors, so they're not like super wealthy to say the least. You don't make a ton of money in the dive industry. So, and for them to take, anywhere between 5 to 7 days off of work and shell out a couple $1,000s, it's really tough on a dive instructor budget. So the cruise was great, just because yeah, it was super accessible, and then it wasn't that expensive either. But
Yeah, that's
we
awesome.
dive. Yeah, I'd say we're shooting to
That's
do.
awesome.
Yeah, we're shooting to do one fall trip or like early winter trip to either Bimini or somewhere in the Bahamas. We looked into Roatan and Bonaire and Cozumel, and a lot of my guys and girls have been there, and I have too. It's just the plane tickets are so expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so we like to do a little bit closer to home, and then I think we're going to do the cruise thing every spring. So like 2 international trips every year.
Nice. All right. Um, and can either anyone reach out so you to get involved in either one of those programs if they wanted to uh a trip somewhere with you guys?
Certainly.
Yeah. Okay. And Brad, you too?
I'm
Not.
looking on the
Mm-hmm.
call
Yeah,
actually. Ben, aren't you moving to Denver?
yeah, absolutely. It's like for us, I don't know John's numbers. I know Cayman Brock. I know my girl Helen from Dive Pirates. They go there and they bring so many people. Our trips are normally anywhere between like 20 to 30 people. Normally 5 to 6 adaptive divers. We'll normally not have more than like 5 wheelchairs. So I don't know. Size is a relative term, right? That could be big for some groups or really small compared to like what the Dive Pirates do and Dive Heart sometimes. But we would usually prefer to get somebody in the pool at least, just to gain a little bit of
Right.
rapport and trust and comfort before we would go on a big trip. You know what I mean? So if they could
Okay.
get here like a day or two before the trip and we could kind of everybody get to know each other, I think that would probably be a better fit.
Gotcha. Um, Megan, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I was just looking around the call too. I know Ryan. I'd love to have Ryan share a little bit of her story too. But Ben, weren't you moving to Denver soon? Are you interested in diving at all?
I don't know about moving, but I am highly interested in diving.
Cool.
I got my medical form filled out. So I had some questions. So like I talked to Thrasher, I think, and they were like, come for 2 weeks. And I was like, I can't do 2 weeks. Do you like both of you guys do my friend was telling me it's called a discovery dive just to see if I could test it out. And then you get certified. Like the ideally I would like to try this, see if I like it and maybe keep pursuing it. But like I'm assuming you would do a pool day for the first 2 days, and then you dive. Is that kind of right? Did I get it?
Yeah. When did you talk to Thresher?
Like I was emailing last week, and I'm still waiting to get back from them.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So yeah, the way that we do it is medical obviously. So if you've got that, kudos. That's great.
Do
I
have
know.
a doctor? I got a for folks who had I had a hard time. So if anybody wants advice, I went to a rehab doctor to get
There
it
you go.
signed. I had about
It's
3 different doctors.
and it's a barrier, and it sucks.
Yeah.
And I know here in Florida, like the healthcare system's kind of, I mean, it takes a long time to get into your doctor. I know my vets have a hard time at the VA, but so good job with that. And then, if you would make it down here, that's what we would do. We would go in the pool first and make sure you like it. And you're not certified. You've never tried scuba before,
No,
right?
nope.
Okay. And so if you're gung ho, normally the way I like to do it, if you're local, I say get the medical, come give it a try in the pool. And then if it's a good fit, then we'll move on with your academics. I send you the e-learning and then we go on with the training, right? But if you're coming from all the way out of town,
I
that
am.
can kind of be your commitment. So first step would be medical, and then you do the academics, and you would go into the confined training in the pool, and then you go into the ocean. If you're not like 100% sure if it's something that you would want to do and you want to try it first, and that's just like one pool day.
So
It would
how
be,
many days would you recommend? If because I'm in DC, so I would just fly down.
yeah, for like the full certification.
No, just the discovery. I just want to test it in the pool and then maybe actually do a little bit of scuba diving.
Oh, I mean, as long as you want, as long as I got you for one day, you can give it a try.
Okay. So I
Yeah,
could come
and I'd
like
work around your schedule.
and say, hey, do the pool and then go actual do some diving. And then if I really like it, I could come back and get certified and everything.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. So that, yeah, exactly. And you nailed it. That's the Discovery Scuba Dive where the pool session is pretty abbreviated, where we just want to make sure that you get the basics, and then you just go and try it in the ocean at a nice shallow spot, no deeper than we normally stay right around 30 feet. You're not like learning all the gear and going through all the skills. It's just to discover to see if you like it.
And how do you guys like handle spasticity in my legs? So my legs will kind of spasm and tighten up. How do you guys handle that?
Yeah, I mean, I just let you shake it out, or
Okay.
sometimes some of our spinal cord injury people like it if we kind of massage it a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, you kind of just wait until it subsides, and then we can continue.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Cool.
Ryan, do you want to share a little bit about your story and maybe some of your upcoming trips? I want to let the group hear about it.
Sure, yeah. I have been injured for just over 4 years, and I'm a very low quad. And I primarily do mountain biking and skiing, and I live in Oregon. And then I have a able-bodied friend in Bend that is a dive master, and I randomly saw like Discovery Dive Day in Portland, and so we went together because he was super interested in it as well. And I did a like Discovery Day in the pool, and really liked it. And it's with the program called SAFE, which stands for Scuba Access for Everyone. And I fully expected to be showing up to like a public pool or something like that. But this guy and his wife that run it are a retired couple, and they just built an indoor saltwater pool on their property with a bunch of accessible showers and bathrooms, and they're running a very awesome operation. And then they go on trips every year. They go to Roatan in September, and they go to other various places. But once I heard about Roatan, I was like, I want to get certified so I can go, because my dad used to be a scuba diver and he always talk about Roatan. So it's already on my radar as an awesome place. But so yeah, the certification through their program is doing the e-learning through NAUI, and then just going and doing cool sessions and checking off as much stuff as you can each time. And then I haven't gone open water yet, so my first day in Hunters will do open water dive, and then we'll be doing 2 dives a day for 5 days. So I'm very excited for that in September. And I I just like to speak on the spasms. Then I get like insane muscle spasms all day, every day, everywhere I am. And so we've tried a bunch of things. They don't really like get in the way of diving. Sometimes I'll like strap my legs together if I have a permanently dislocated right hip, which is another story. So sometimes that leg floats on its own terms. So I've done stuff like strapping my legs together, or putting like ankle weights on when I'm getting into the water, and then once you're neutral, taking the ankle weights off, and then being able to swim in the correct position. And I just think in general, being in the pool and swimming feels super good on my joints and my body. And I never realized how exhausted I am until like an hour after I get out of the pool. I'm like, oh my God, my arms are so tired, because it doesn't feel exhausting while you're doing it. But it's a good kind of exhausting afterward. I'm like, oh my God, we got some stuff done. So yeah, I've had nothing but good experiences thus far with that crew. And my friend who's a dive master will be coming with me to Honduras, so it'll be nice to have. I haven't gone on like a beach or sandy vacation since I've been injured, because sand and wheelchairs just like no. So I'm glad they have like all those logistics figured out. And this is their 5th year going to the same spot in Roatan, so they've trained some of the local dive instructors down there and the people in the hotel for how to get on and off the boat and all those kinds of logistics. So yeah, it feels good to go on a trip that other people get to plan the accessibility components. Yeah, I'm super excited. And they offered, or I applied for a scholarship to cover the certification and all of that. So they haven't billed me for a hotel yet, even though I have a room booked. So I think I'm just paying for my flights, and maybe I'll be paying for the hotel, but we'll see. I'm not gonna ask. So, and then I know I haven't met a lot of the other people that are going, but I know there's a blind couple that goes on the trip every year that's like super into it. And then when I've gone for my discovery days, they've had foot injury people. There was like a veteran group there before I was there one day, and I kind of listened to their debrief, and it was super awesome to hear about like like PTSD and anxiety for people that are dealing with that. So they take anyone diving, which I love. That sounds like what John and Brad with you guys did. They're like anyone, we can figure it out. And then to speak on the autonomic dysreflexia, I get AD a lot from usually if my bladder is just too full. And then I was like, my 3rd time going, I kept getting it like right away when I was going underwater. And then like I would go pee and it would go away, but it was like the worst AD headache I've ever had in my life, and it kept happening over and over again. So I went to the ER, and it turns out I had a 10-centimeter wide pocket of fluid by my dislocated hip. So thankfully that was the reason I was having it. It had nothing to do with like being underwater and diving, but it was definitely like came up to the surface as fast as we could. Like take the wetsuit off, like all the tight stuff off, and figure that out. So I'm glad I got that out of the way. got
But diving
drained.
discovered that for you.
Yeah,
almost.
exactly.
Like...
exactly. The free CAT scan that you can't see. So yeah, glad I got that sorted out, because I was like, oh man, is this from like going up and down in the water and pressure and the bladder doing like weird stuff? But ended up being a separate problem. But I think that blood pressure thing sounds awesome, because I can tell when I'm having AD, but I know sometimes it's hard to recognize for others. So yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. I just added the SAFE program to the Adaptive Rec Hub as well. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, they're awesome. I think they run like a regular dive school, which is kind of how they can pay for everything, and then the adaptive side is a nonprofit. But yeah, Dale and Debbie, good old retired couple.
Just curious, Brad and John, Do you guys know each other? Have you guys ever worked together, or have you guys any of these programs sound familiar?
Almost all of them sound familiar.
Okay.
Dive Pirates, for example, I'm very good friends with.
Wow.
The one up in Oregon, I believe, has also been trained by Dive Heart
Yeah.
as their adaptive program. I'm close friends with the founders of Dive Heart, so I communicate with those folks around the country, especially trying to share and disseminate information that helps any of the organizations be able to be more successful in offering adaptive diving. So we started as a chapter of Dive Pirates 10 years ago.
Mhm.
We grew so fast that by year two, we kind of outgrown them. When we go into Cayman Brock now, like they do, we take over the whole resort. So we're the whole show and the boats are all chartered to us and doing what we're doing. So know all those organizations. Not familiar with a gentleman down there in Florida. Hope to exchange some information there.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I've heard of Denver divers for sure. You guys ever come to South Florida?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
but not as much as where we're hitting the other places. We like because we're landlocked. Our travels are taking us all over the globe, and we've actually done and taken some spinal cord injuries as far as ways to the Philippines, which
Oh,
was great
wow.
fun.
Yeah.
Um, their interpretation of being adaptive ready is not necessarily always the same as it is in the U.S., but you make it work.
Yeah, we get spoiled with the ADA over here. It's fun. Like when I research hotels and stuff, they're like, "Oh yeah, the bathroom's totally accessible." I'm like, "Well, can you send me some pictures of it?" And it's just like
Exactly.
there's like a lip to get into the shower, and I'm just like, "Yeah, no, we're not going there." Okay. I know we do get some groups from Denver over here to dive with us, but yeah, it's definitely a small community.
Yeah, and that's
Diving is
always
already
the
a small
neatest
community.
thing about these calls is merging all the communities together because most of the time everyone kind of knows each other. So
Yeah,
it's cool to see that. Ben, what was your question?
So two for you guys and one for you guys and one for Brad and Sean. So I think KBF does a $500 scholarship. Is that right? If you've never done something.
Yeah, so KBF offers scholarships for first time experiences, or if you're trying a new piece of equipment. So with scuba diving, Ryan can explain this a little bit more because I believe she's talked with Amy about grants and stuff. I believe if it's a new adaptive experience, you can apply for a scholarship. When it comes to equipment, I think that it's a little bit different.
I'm
But
saying just the experience. I
yeah,
just wanted to, yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure a scholarship would you'd be eligible for that for a new time experience. So I'll put the link in here just so you have
Okay.
that. But yeah.
And then John and Brad, so you guys would have charge for like the time of the dives, and then we would be responsible for our transportation and hotel. Is that correct?
yeah. I wish we were rolling in it, but as
That's
far
okay.
what I tell everybody is, if you get here, I'll take care of the rest. All
All
the diving, instruction, boats, all that stuff is no cost.
right. Okay.
You would just have to cover your lodging and your transportation down here. Yeah, as far as your transportation here, I could do the best that I could for you to help
That's
figure it
not a
out.
car. I think I
Yeah,
would just something. So
Brad,
either way.
just so you know too, our scholarships are for anyone with any spinal cord injury, and it can
mhm.
cover travel, hotels, anything that like is needed to help get that individual to that location. Um,
Awesome.
so you guys can share that with your community if you feel like someone needs any assistance with getting there for the first time experience or they're trying something new. So
Yeah, sweet.
Those are just for spinal cord injuries.
mhm.
Copy that. And it's cool down here because like it is vacation land. So it kind of works out for a lot of people where they're like, oh, well, we wanted to go to Disney anyways, like if they live in like Pennsylvania or something. So like, hey, so while we're visiting Orlando and doing the parks, can we come? Like, absolutely, yeah. Why? You're right here. That's only a couple hours away. So yeah, I mean, it's not like, yeah, it's a nice area just to visit regardless. Even if you weren't just scuba diving, it's a cool place
You
to.
do you guys both allow if I would have a friend come with me, able-bodied friend that is scuba certified, are they allowed to attend as well if I have somebody come?
Yeah,
Yes.
But yeah,
absolutely.
okay,
Yeah, yeah. We're one love. The more the merrier. And we would yeah, the subsidy that I'm able to get would cover their diving too. So they come out on the boat with us and do the dive with you. And I know it's not cheap to get down here and stay. So if we can kind of just subset that little bit of cost on the diving end,
okay.
that we're really happy to be able to do that. Yeah,
Um,
you would just need to. I mean, I don't know where the 2 weeks came from. It's funny that you said Threshers because I used to run it for 5 years. I wasn't really sure that they were still doing anything, but yeah, I mean, literally, I would just need you for 2 days,
Okay,
one day in the
perfect.
pool and then one day in the ocean. And you said you'd be driving. The only thing, just keep in
I would
mind,
fly and I would just rent a car.
gotcha. Yeah, you just want to plan it out so that you're not flying right after you're diving.
Okay,
You want to give it a day.
great.
Yeah.
And John, did you say same for you in your program with a companion?
We're a little bit different in that our structure is similar in that we'll do a try scuba based off the medical to begin with here in our pool in Denver. And then if the individual likes it and wants to move forward, we hand out a scholarship application. The difference is though that scholarship application covers all training costs, all hotel stays, and food at the resort, plus the diving. So the individual applicant would be responsible for their airfare when we go to the destination and tips to the boat crew. So we cover probably underneath our scholarship probably 85 to 90% of the costs associated with it. So it's a little bit different in that regard. If the individual has an immediate family member that's interested in doing this, then we would also be entertaining scholarship for that immediate family member, which would cover the same things with the intention that we train them further. So we've taken through such courses as stress and rescue and classified dive buddy, as it's called under SSI's world, to make them a dive buddy to that family member. So it's a little bit more financially inclusive. But of course, all that is done starts here in Denver.
Wonderful. Thanks for explaining that process as well.
mhm.
No problem.
I just wanted to welcome Caroline and ask if you had any questions joining this call, or Colette too, if you had any specific questions.
No, I don't. I'm just here to learn and get familiar with the organization. So it's great. I
Well,
love it.
thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, Colette, I was just curious. Are you looking more to learn more about training for staff, or are you looking like I was just curious what you were really seeking?
Yeah, it's more for training,
Okay.
for staff. So I didn't know that it was even possible. So it's just something that I'd like to learn a little bit more about and see how we can, offer it here on Maui to the people that we work with, and just open up the possibilities. So yeah, just here to learn.
John and Brad, I don't know if you guys have any just tips or suggestions for programs that are looking to start a program or get their instructor certified through the process or anything like that. Uh,
Yeah, what agency is your shop, Colette?
So I work with a foundation. It's called Kalea Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So we help disabled people get on the water. We also work with young girls to help motivate them through sports. So we are more like water sports oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's kind of what we do. I used to be a professional windsurfer, and I've also worked in the retail world for about 20 years. So um, got a little bit of water experience, but want to help other people, enjoy and have the possibilities.
Yeah, I would say you're I mean, and I'll let John take a whack at this too, but I would say your first step would probably be to partner up with your local dive shop since they
Yeah.
probably already have all the resources, and see if they are doing adaptive. Pretty much sounds like John's SSI and SDI, and that's our facility. And we're both familiar with Dive Heart and HSA, who kind of started the whole thing. But now everybody, Pat, like pretty much every agency's got some form of adaptive. It just is a matter of finding the dive shop in your area that is doing it successfully, and partnering with them, I would say, would be the move.
Yeah, for sure.
I
Thanks.
would
Thanks for the
echo that.
recommendation.
Yeah, affiliating with the dive shop first is first and foremost, because the dive shop is the one that has the capability of certifying,
Mhm.
as well as being able to carry the to be able to do the training. So I would start with that affiliation first.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and it's supply and demand, just like anything else. Like we're going out to California to put on a Discover Scuba with the group, and to try to, like, they just realize that this is something that's missing in their community, kind of like, well, Kelly Brush, you guys have scuba listed, but there's a lot of spinal cord injury groups that do water skiing and horseback riding, all that stuff, but they don't do scuba. So that's this group that we're going out to California with. But that's the thing, Colette, like, if you've got the demand for it, that's really good incentive for your local dive shop to incorporate adaptive into
Yeah.
their programming, and that
Yeah.
that comes into getting an instructor trainer or a course director, whoever of whatever agency is, and coming in and certifying the staff. And it's kind of, I
Yeah.
mean, it's 2026. It's like every shop should have some kind of
Yeah.
adaptive training at this point, I feel like.
Yeah.
What adaptations or specialized equipment make diving adaptive and possible?
That's a good question.
Hmm?
The main thing I've used, like the only thing that's not standard, is using the like webbed finger gloves, just since you're not like kicking.
Mm.
And then in my experience, other than that, all the equipment is standard. And then at the place I go, and I'm sure Brad and John also have input, they have like the masks that cover your whole face for
Mm-hmm.
certain individuals. So
Mm.
that's my
Do
Yeah.
you have
input.
do you have brands of, because I was looking at buying them because I'm already scuba certified, just not while paralyzed. Do you have brands? Because I was just gonna buy a couple and see what I liked. Have you tried many brands of?
Oh, the full face masks?
No. The
No.
hand
Oh, I don't
You
know
know,
what brand I was using.
one of our guys makes them, and it's kind of looks like a ping pong. It's more of a paddle,
Yeah.
right? And I would say, like, really anyone on Amazon. We don't have a specific brand. Some of them, like the ones that, like, you slide on your finger, and that kind of just looks like webbing. And then I think they're all pretty similar. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Most of them are made in China, but John might have like a specific one that he likes.
Actually, no, I was about to say the same thing you were saying. It really is the ones that he's talking about with the elasticity that kind of look like Spider-Man gloves.
Is
So
this
that's
kind of what
really,
you guys are talking about? Just like I'm looking up on,
yes, yes.
but just so people have a
Mm,
little idea,
The one on the far left,
like this.
yes. So
yeah.
that's great, except subject to how the hand is responding as a quad. Those can
Mhm.
be very difficult to get on.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
you can
They're
go
fair
with
to
a
get
little bit more of a neoprene web glove, making it a lot easier to get on and off.
on.
I think that is, I think that's as good as any of them, and by far as the least expensive in cost. But it really gets down to, trying a few and see which one you like,
Yep.
and then sticking with that. It's just like anything in the equipment field. It's, you know, yes, this equipment does this, that, and the other, but when it gets down to it, very personal, and what fits you and which ones do you like the best based on your own personal situation.
So have you guys taken people down like to do wreck diving, or you don't typically go that deep?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just double dipped the Vandenberg down in Key West. And we got, which is like 150 to the sand. It's a massive shipwreck. And we got a bunch of shipwrecks in Pompano that we do. Um,
That's where I was certified. So I did this
really?
certification up here, and I did 1 year I was learning, and then the next year I was like one of like the TAs for the course for scuba diving.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Where
Oh,
in
yeah, the
Pompano?
wrecks are great.
Yeah.
What?
What, do you remember who you dove with in Pompano?
Ah, it's a group out of UMass Amherst that did it, and so it's a whole like crew
Gotcha.
of people. I assuming they're still doing it. Um, but I just remember the two times I went down to Key West, we had really bad waves, like
Yeah.
really bad waves. One of the times we were going out, and the captain, we still went out, but the captain goes, "Yeah, when all the ships are going back in, and there aren't many ships." He's like, or boats. He's like, it's not a good sign. And
Yeah.
like I remember, like I obviously had functioning legs at the time, and it was hard to get on and off the boat because it was like, it's slapping, and so you time it, and it's like I don't know, like I just don't think that would work with paralysis because like I you can't use your feet to like, and you
Yeah.
need to because you're kind of in trouble if you don't time it right, like you're under.
Yeah,
That's
we're very conservative. Anything over 2 foot, we're not going out. And I'm one of the boat captains. I'm driving the boat a lot of the time, so it's like, that's the biggest thing. If that swim platform is bouncing up and down, it's just not safe. And that's the that is the where logistics come into play on getting people on and off the boat. And we just bought a davit, so like a crane that goes on the back of our boat that can kind of lift people in and out of the water. I'm having the davit post being refurbished right now, but here in the next couple of weeks, we should have that on the back of our Newton.
Mm.
And there's no other boats down here in South Florida that have one. They have them in like, if John's been to like Roatan, and I'm sure John's seen them at other places, but nobody down here's got one. So I'm really excited about that.
so do you operate in February?
Yeah. Yeah. We dive year round.
Because I am planning on being down in Florida.
Well, you got to
So
look me up for sure.
yeah, I definitely would be interested in getting your information because I was just going to try to snorkel, and I was calling up people, cold calling them, trying to ask if they would take someone that couldn't walk. And I did find a guy who was like, "No problem, we'll get you in." I'm like, You don't have to get me in. I'll get myself in there. Don't
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
worry."
Yeah.
But as long as you're not like gonna be like, "What the heck are we doing with this girl?" Like I just didn't want that reaction.
Caroline,
Yeah,
maybe you
we
could,
dive a lot. I mean,
yeah.
year round. The winter time's a little bit more challenging. You need to throw on some neoprene, which is no fun for anybody, myself included. And then, the ocean is kicked up a little bit, but man, the visibility during the winter is definitely better. So yeah, we dive year round. I'm gonna grab this thing real quick.
And I'm kind of curious, we talked about like waves and we've talked about autonomic dysreflexia. I'm curious what other safety protocols are unique to adaptive driving or other safety concerns that and how you manage those.
Well, I think one would be like if you're wreck diving, I know there's sometimes like hooks and stuff in the ropes that get you down to the wreck. I know that was always like a concern. Didn't want to like mess up your hands. And if you're using paddles, like how are you gonna get yourself down to a wreck if you're using paddles on your hands? Like what are you gonna do? Like that just doesn't seem to work to me.
Yeah, you can still grab the line if you've got the gloves or if you've got the paddles. Kind of, there's a piece of elastic around your hand, so the paddle can kind of go down, and that gives you dexterity to clear your mask or something like that. So, but we're really really conservative. So, if it's strong current, we're not doing a wreck dive. Um, and then yeah, as far as like other safety protocols, we do require the medical to be signed off every year by the doctor. I tell most people, in this day and age with the advances in medicine and stuff, it used to be like seizures and asthma were like a hard stop. Now they're kind of just like speed bumps. If all that stuff is being treated successfully, you can still get a doctor sign off. The thing that's going to prohibit you for a doctor sign off as an open wound or an open sore. So if you have that, you're probably not going to get a sign off. But besides that, it's normally not too difficult as long as you have a doctor that is familiar with what we're doing. And then, all the dive boats that we go on have 100% O2, AED, first aid. We've got our own emergency action plan that we use. We travel with our AED everywhere we go. We've got it. And then John will tell you as well. It's a lot of pre-dive safety checks, pre-dive safety briefings, stuff like that to mitigate risk. Kind of getting ahead of it,
All right.
Well, guys, I just want. Oh, John, go ahead.
Just
this is what I want to show you before, though. This is a scooter that some of my people use. So basically, you just hold on to. This is a small one, a Lafitte, but yeah, if they don't feel like swimming with their hands, I give them this, and it's got some propellers on it. So we just did
that's
a
a better.
BP
The
dive
light
yesterday.
was a little challenging to see that at first.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's just like, yeah.
Ben
And
is
yeah, it's
also
got a little propeller back there.
Oh, nice. Ben is also asking, what's the best way to reach you guys, John and Brad? Are you able to put your contact information in the chat, or Instagram's the best way, or?
Megan, you have my contact information,
Yep.
correct?
Yeah, I can put. Do you mind if I put your email in the chat? Is that okay? Or
Yeah, please do.
okay.
I'll put mine in right now.
Perfect.
Yeah, Brad, what's like the lead time you need to be able to do? Because my husband's not certified, so I'd have to get him like certified before we came down. Like, what's the time frame you need to book, like to go out?
Not much at all. I mean, as long as I have like a week or two, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, because I think he'd enjoy it. He'd have a good time. And I know I would.
You're like, he'll like it no matter what. If I'm happy, he's happy.
I mean, if you did winter climbing, I mean, if you're okay with that kind of misery, like scuba diving's a good time. I
Yeah.
think he's got like awesome lung capacity. I remember when I was in hospital and they were like, I don't know if you guys remember that had the SCI, they were big on like lung capacity. And I was like, there's no way people are making beyond this lung capacity. I'm not buying it. And so the doctor tried it and he only did a little bit better than me. And then my husband, who's a runner, he'd run 100 miles a week in college. And he gets in there and they have two different ones because I was like, I don't buy that anyone's doing this that well. And he takes them both, puts them both in his mouth, and he maxes both of them out. So I don't worry about his lung capacity in terms of not like panicking, because that was the biggest problem. I think people panic underwater and they use too much oxygen. So I think he'll have a good time.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. As you said, so he's not certified, right?
No, but I have enough people that I know that are still up here. I could just go find one of them at the dive shop and go get them certified
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
February.
Well, we tell a lot. And where are you at? What part of the country?
I'm in southern New Hampshire, like Mass
Okay, gotcha.
border.
So yeah, get them certified, or what a lot of people do here is they'll do their academics in their pool training
Yeah,
up there where it's cold,
yeah,
and then they come down here and they do like their checkout dives in the warm ocean.
yeah. That's what I did, I think,
Yeah.
for my dives. All right.
Well,
Sounds
guys,
fun.
I just want to thank you all. It's always so fun to have these conversations, and it's really great to just share all these resources with individuals that are really interested in getting into the sport. So, thank you all for sharing your story and asking a ton of questions. And I really enjoyed tonight's conversation.
Likewise, likewise. Thanks everyone for coming.
Thanks very
Thanks
much.
for having us.
Yeah, and we'll be in
Thank
touch
you.
for sure. But reach out if you guys ever have anything, and have fun. I can't wait to hear more about all these fun trips. Maybe sometime Diane and I will have to go.
I know. I want
Thank
to.
you
I
all.
want to.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay,
Bye,
thank
guys.
you.
See you soon.
Thank
Nice
you
meeting
all.
you all.
See ya.
Aloha.
Bye.
Bye.